Going live, doing my normal routine, you guys. It's sunny today, not foggy like yesterday. I'm doing the normal thing. I have just dropped my daughter at school. I am now headed to the gym, and you know about the traffic. This is why I started doing these lives during this time because I'm like literally sitting in my car not doing anything but like stuck in traffic. So that's why I do this on at this time every day. I don't know what I'm gonna do when she's on vacation. Like I don't know if I'm still gonna go live around the same time every morning. We will see, cause she's getting ready to go on break. This is the last week of school. But this morning, a good friend of mine sent me the video of Benzino, which he's obviously. If you haven't seen it, I posted it on my Facebook and my YouTube channel. So if you haven't seen it, it was on 50 Cent's Instagram page. Um, Obviously, he was having some type of mental health crisis. He seems to be like he's in his underwear on the ground. He has a knife in his hand. He's screaming. The girlfriend's like yelling at him to stop. And I wanted to talk about it because of several reasons. One, I, if you don't know, I used to live in Boston. I lived in Boston from '96 to like 2002. I have quite a few good friends who still live there. Um, and if you know anything about that era, that was during the Source, when the Source was very big. And if you're familiar with Benzino, Benzino was one of the founders of the Source magazine. And so he was a very big character. I don't know what to call him. I do not know Benzino. I want to be clear about that. I have crossed paths with him when I lived there because he was such a big, he was. It was during their era, like that was their era, and they were always out, and that was when I was out, and so definitely have crossed paths. Know people who know him, so I have some information that I don't think I'm going to share a lot of it, but and I know some things just based on proximity. When you live in a place, you you end up learning things about people and learning and knowing things about people, and so um, yeah, I got to make this crazy left turn. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Anyway, that said, all right, let's get into his. Let's talk about mental health. Let's talk about mental health because a lot of the things that we're seeing with men right now is because men are not getting the help that they need. Like they're not getting the therapy and just in general not seeking help. And it's because patriarchy is like you got to be strong, you got to go through things and power through things, but you can't. And again, like I said, let me also point out the fact that I am not a fan of Benzino. I don't think he's a particularly good person. I know that he is estranged from his family, and I think his daughter and some other people in his family. So again, I am not on Benzino's team, but I am talking about this because we need to talk about when somebody's in crisis and we need to give them help. We need people in mental health, crises to get help. So when I saw the video, despite the things I know of Benzino, I'm not, like I said, not a fan. I'm not a supporter. I'm looking at a person who's in a mental health crisis and who needs help. And instead of, I think a lot of people are watching the video and laughing. And it depends on how Benzino treated you. You might be well within your right to laugh. That might be okay for you. However, when we look at people who are having a mental health crisis, our first reaction shouldn't be necessarily, depending on how they treated you, to poke fun or to laugh or to look at it, oh, look, he's crazy. We should be talking about what can we do to make sure people are getting the mental health support that they need, because obviously if somebody is being suicidal and waving a knife around, they need some help. They need help with, whatever it is mentally that they're going through. And unfortunately, I think in the Black community, we have a stigma about therapy. I think that a lot of Black people, Black men especially, are not seeking the treatment that they need to help them through whatever traumas, whatever things that they've been going through. They're not seeking treatment when they need treatment. And this is the reason why we have so many men committing suicide, because we're not, well, not we personally, but they're not receiving the support, the mental health support that they need. And I know that I've talked about earlier this week how a lot of men don't want to get therapy, but they seek mental health support through romantic partners and through women especially. And women are not therapists. We're not therapists. We're not trained to deal with your mental health issues. We're not trained to provide any kind of treatment plan or any kind of exercises to get you through what you're going through. And even though many women have been through, a lot of women have been through therapy, I personally have gone to therapy. I think therapy is a wonderful thing. And I think everybody, personally, I think everybody should go to therapy because it's the best. But, like, men really need to get to the point where they're not afraid. I think there's a lot of fear behind the refusal to get help for mental health issues. And like I said, in the Black community, it seems like a lot of people don't want to go, or a lot of men don't want to go, and men and women don't want to go get help from a mental health professional. But a lot of Black people will go to church and go and talk to their pastor. And again, pastors are not therapists, and they're not educated to provide mental health support. They don't have the background for it. They just don't have it. They can't be your therapist. Pastors are not therapists. Church people, you guys, I get that a lot of people want to go to church or pray about it, but that does not take care of mental health. Mental health needs a mental health professional, somebody who's trained to deal with certain things, and there's no way that the church can provide that. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but you cannot go to church if you're having a mental health crisis. So when I'm looking at this video and I'm like, wow, he's really, it's been a lot. He's been in a lot of, turmoil with his family for a long time. There's a lot of things that, like I said, I'm not going to get into it, that I'm aware of that are very alarming about his behavior and have been alarming for a long time. This is somebody who has shown for many, many years, probably over a decade, maybe even two, that he needs some help. And I don't think he's ever gotten it. I don't think he's ever gotten the help that he needs. And the thing about, I think, men, they already don't seek help, but then men plus celebrity makes it even harder, because that ego gets so big that they think that they're invincible and they can do anything, and they don't want to feel vulnerable and have to go and seek out help from a mental health professional. So this guy has been unhinged for a long time. So even though the video was shocking, I'm not really shocked at him having a mental breakdown. Like, I'm not shocked at all. Like, that kind of tracks based on his behavior over the years. It was like it was only a matter of time before he had a, like, that's just how it is. In fact, that's always how it is. Like, if you are dealing with trauma or any kind of mental health issue and you don't take care of it, you don't get therapy, over time that's going to build up and you're going to end up having a breakdown. And I've witnessed people having breakdowns because they refuse, and this is men specifically, I have watched men have mental health breakdowns because they refuse. And this is the thing. I wish there was a way that you could stop people from refusing mental health treatment, because they refuse, then they have a breakdown, and they're all suicidal because they won't go get help. And I'm just saying this to anybody that's out there watching, it's okay to get help. Like, it's okay if you're having a hard time if you're depressed, if you're like having anxiety, getting help will make you feel better. And that's the thing, you want to feel better. So refusing treatment is just keeping yourself miserable and unhappy and unwell. And getting treatment, no matter how scary or intimidating your first time going to the therapist may be, getting treatment is an amazing thing. It will make you feel completely like a new person. They will help, the therapist will help you with exercises and things to make you be able to face whatever it is that you need to face and get through life in a much better mental space. And that's what you want. Like, you want to be able to function. And right now a lot of men, and I say this because women are getting therapy. My friends, my female friends, they're like, oh, I got a new therapist, or I'm going to go to therapist, or I'm going to therapy, and therapy has been great. Women friends, my female friends are getting therapy. They're taking care of all the issues. My male friends, couple, maybe one or two. But for the most part, men are not checking in with the therapist. And let me be clear, there is bias in the mental health community. I know that we don't talk about that, but for me personally, I won't go to a therapist who isn't black. Like, I've got to have a black woman therapist, and because there's bias in therapy, there's bias. Like, if you end up with someone who doesn't understand your race, the challenges that you face, your gender, you will end up with somebody that doesn't understand you. So it's really important to find somebody who understands you. And that's the thing. A lot of people don't go to therapy because there's not a lot of therapists who look like us. That's just a fact. But there are some. So if you go, find a therapist that understands your life, your challenges, because that will make, like, it'll improve the experience and it'll help you move along in your therapy. It'll be awesome. It'll be great. But a lot of people, a lot of black people, black men especially, are skipping out on the therapy. And when we skip out on the therapy, this is the result. You have this grown man, and how old is Benzino? Benzino got to be in his 50s by now. Maybe even close to 60. I don't even know how old he is. And he is just having a full breakdown. And it's on film. Like, it's a moment that probably shouldn't be exposed to the world. It's got millions of views. And again, we got to find a way to balance out this issue of helping people get the help they need without making stigmas about people having mental health issues. And he may not be the best person for that because, again, I don't see Benzino as like one of the most upstanding members of the community. Like I said, there's some people who are laughing, and they're probably well within their right to laugh because, he hadn't treated everybody so great over the years. But again, that's still, to my point, is that we have to get to a place in society where people can get the help that they desperately need so that they're not having mental breakdowns, so that they're not trying to commit suicide. It's really important. It's like super important. And I just wanted to touch on that today because I don't think we talk about it enough in the black community. I don't think we talk about mental health needs and mental health, just being mentally well, our well-being. And we should, because we have to deal with the most stuff, like just racism every single day in our lives is a trauma that we deal with constantly. It's a constant burden that we live with. And so if anybody should be talking about mental health, it should be us. And we should be finding ways for us to get treatment and to be well. Like, we should be desperately working on this. So that was another reason I wanted to talk about this today. And I might do a whole video on my members only channel just about my mental health care journey and how, getting treatment over the last couple of years has really just made my life amazing. It opened my eyes to a lot of things that I was unaware of, and that's the thing. You need to be in a place where you can open up and kind of go through all the stuff that's affecting you. Okay, guys, I'm at my gym, so I'm looking for parking. My This is my routine. If you watch every day, you know I do this every day. I'm like, ah, the parking, because my gym is popular. So, I think I might do a members only video on that. Like, I might just talk about all the things that I went through, because I went through some major traumas over the past couple of years, and it was so traumatic that I was like, I cannot do this on my own. And that's the thing. That's what therapy is for, is to help you through like really hard stuff, especially traumatic stuff, because you can't. We're not supposed to live through this life with no help from anybody. I got to park far away. We're supposed to, have support. That's what therapy is. It's support. So, anyway, okay. I'm at my gym. I'm getting ready to run in, do my yoga. But yeah, that is something that we really need to work on as a community, making sure that people have mental health care. Again, it's sad. I don't know if it's sad, but it's messed up to see Benzino in that kind of position. Again, I don't really feel sad for him or sorry for him, but I think that we should, as a community, say this is why we need people. Like, we need therapists. We need people going to therapy. We need, I think he's estranged from his daughter. That's a therapy thing. Like, we need to make sure people are getting the therapy that they need so that they can build with their families and repair issues and all that. All that needs to come into play. Anyway, I'm getting ready to go into my yoga class. As always, I appreciate everyone for watching. I see a lot of highs and hellos. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys. Let's see. My socials are Kai Nicole on Twitter and on Facebook. I'm Kai Fly Mommy on Instagram and on Threads. So if you have anything you want me to talk about, if you want to just leave me a comment, please do. I read pretty much everything sent to me, even the stuff I don't reply to. I read it, so feel free. Yeah, and let's see. I'm going to go live tomorrow. I think my brother is going to join me. I won't know until tomorrow, but if you watch tomorrow, you'll be able to see my big brother. But we got to work on that. I got to make sure that if it's technical issues or something, because I've never done a live with my brother, so I don't know how that's going to work, but I'm going to try that tomorrow. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And always, I'm going to struggle to get off of here like I always do. But yeah, thank you for watching, and peace, guys, and the struggle.